Hey, what's going on, everybody? Man, I have like almost a minute delay of looking at my phone when I started my live stream to my computer where I'm trying to watch my own live stream. It took over a minute for the video to show up. Uh, hey, Scott. Hey, Rich, Jim, Mark, Adam, Chris, Art. What's going on, everybody? Hey, man, Joe. Yeah, so I'm back at it, playing around with my fusions. I have another race coming up. I wanted to talk a little bit about last weekend's Sunday's race. And I actually have another event I'll show you here at the Kilbasa Raceway in Bowling Green, where they have those 3 tracks. I've raced there 2 times now. I think this will be my 3rd time. So anyway, this is kind of not an official race. It's kind of like they're calling it an open practice, but the last time we did this open practice, we just raced like usual anyway. Maybe not as many races, but there were definitely some races that broke out depending on how many people show up. So, yeah, so I did pretty good Sunday. In particular, this car, my ceramic super stock, I came in 4th, which is my best finish yet. I was pretty happy with the red and the yellow lane, which were the 2 toughest lanes on that track. I was right there. I did like 46, 47 laps, which is what everybody, even the top guys, were doing. The difference was the white and blue lanes, while I hit 50, I think I did 50 in one and 51 in the other. The top 3 racers did like 55 laps on those lanes. So I guess I held back a little bit on blue and white, where I really should have been pushing it on those easier lanes. So, but this car with these 416 tires ran really, really well. I was very happy with how this car handled. My spec racer, not too much. I wasn't too happy. I think I got either 5th or 6th place in spec racer. I've actually moved this motor was in this opaque car chassis. I think you guys remember I tried out this opaque chassis, but thanks, Scott. I switched back to this blue chassis because I could just get better traction and better downforce. The magnets sit a little lower in this blue chassis. Although I did get some new front tires from Wizard to take the car down even more. So I've actually got this car sitting pretty good now. Although this is going to be my backup car, because this car that I just rebuilt earlier today or yesterday, I can't even remember, this thing is running really. I'm looking forward to racing this car on Saturday. This spec racer, at least on my track, it's really running pretty good. I've got it really like right where I want it, with the perfectly level, with the magnets just kissing the rails. So we'll see how it goes. This is going to be my backup, and I'm working on what I'm doing between now and Saturday. Since we're racing again, I have my we did run my IROC set, which I have right there. I got to take a look at those because those were abused pretty good. You could see the red car suffered some some crashes in the front there. Those chips weren't there prior to this weekend, so I got to look at those cars and see how they're doing, because we might end up racing them again Saturday. This was my This red car I raced in spec stock class, which is basically a hard body Viper. I did pretty well in this. I thought I would do a little better. Again, I think I just held back a little bit. I think I took fifth or sixth in this race as well. And this was my box stock Super 7. I did okay in this. This car ran okay. Oh, one little tip I learned. Both of my cars were pretty loud. Like they were making like a clacking, chattering noise. And one of the guys gave me a little tip, which maybe you guys already know this, but I'll pass it along anyway. Sorry, I had to get something. One of the guys gave me some of these glue dots, these like double-sided little sticky tapes. And what you do is you put a little glue dot, it was basically the clip was moving and the body was actually rocking up and down. So by putting that glue dot, there's a lot less movement up and down. In particular, this car was really loud. And I was amazed at how it quieted the car down. So if you guys have some noisy AFX cars with this standard body clip, just a little, like a half, not even a half a piece of one of these glue dots, I just put it right over where this clip goes and just put the clip on, and it really helped quiet the cars down. Yeah. That's my tip for tonight. You know, this stupid laptop, I don't know, I guess I need a better laptop in this garage. The video always stops. I have to refresh my browser. So yeah, so that's that. I also wanted to build another spec racer. Actually, this armature here was in this chassis, but this was my third, like, backup to my backup spec racer, and it never ran good. The thing just didn't run like it should on the dyno. It was like only in the 350s, where every one of my other hot stock fusions is in the 430s to 450s. So I don't know, I got a new armature. I got some parts from Wizard, and I forgot I actually ordered yet another hot stock armature just to have it. So I'm going to swap out this armature and end bell and see if I can see how this car runs. And I always like building new cars because you never know when you're going to get a really hot running car, which may become my primary car if it runs really well. So we'll see if we have time to. I got a lot of things I want to do before Saturday. Get all these cars ready. Yeah. I've been fixing, retaping, pinning my bodies on these cars. I was building, just as you guys came on, I got another pair of these. Oh, I had two pairs of these 416 Victory Silly Sponge tires, which is what was on this car that I came in fourth with. So I wanted to build another axle. I really like these tires. They handled really well, and I like that size. So I'm going to finish building this real quick. I'm gonna put. I've already spaced this out properly with the spacers that I want on it. And I really like these axles that have those those gold pads to kind of help you line everything up. These Wizard rear axles have kind of become my favorite axle. They make it easy to get everything set up right. I am going to put a little dab of this blue thread locker that Viper sells. I guess it's just like Loctite. I know some people don't like to use Loctite on plastic. I guess they say you shouldn't use it on plastic, but I've always used this on all my pinion gears, and I've never had an issue. I've never had any of my pinion gears go bad. I've never had them come off, so I don't know. If you're a firm believer to not use Loctite on plastic, then don't use it. But I'm using it because that's what I have. I don't really put a lot of Loctite on there, just like a little dab. Again, I gotta thank Steven for making these little adapters for me for these silly sponge tires. It really makes it very easy to press these tires on. Yeah, that's gonna go on some more. Alright, let's see how this looks. It looks pretty far out still. Yeah, it's not fitting yet. Alright, let's see how this looks. Huh. Still not fitting in there. Need to bring this side in just a little bit more. Let's see if that does it now. Okay, we are in. Sorry guys, I know this is boring. A lot of little back and forth tweaking of this. Get this exactly. I'm a perfectionist, so the spacing has to be perfect on each tire. Or I'm not happy. Alright, there we go. Alright, cool. So that's my extra 416 rear axle. Can move on to something else. I don't know if this is my chat's working. I don't see anybody chatting, or the chat hasn't updated in quite a while, unless you guys are all just watching and not saying anything. I assume you guys could still hear me. I hope. Okay, cool. I saw your comment, Scott. Thank you. All right. I wonder if this will fit in here. Yeah, that fits. Cool. All right. What do you guys think? You want me to build this other Fusion rather than work on my other cars? I could work on those other cars tomorrow or Friday, tuning up my IROCs. I think it'd be more fun to build this Fusion, and I really want to see how this car runs. So I've already spaced out the armature. I actually had to put 3 20,000ths. I can get this stupid thing to focus spacers on there. And I have a Teflon spacer and a 5,000 spacer. So I got about 10,000 spacing on top. So let's slap this thing together. This hopefully shouldn't take too long. Famous last words, right? When you're building something live. No, Mike, that was a different armature. That was a Viper, one of their hot stock armatures, that green one. No, this armature I got from Wizard, and I don't know if it's the armature. I mean, this is a pretty new armature. It doesn't have that much life on it. Maybe it's the end bell, or I don't know. I'm gonna revisit it, but I wanted to use this new armature and just build a whole new. So this is a whole new end bell, a new armature. I mean, you could even see this chassis barely. There's like no dirt on it. Like I never ran this thing when I put it together because I had 2 other spec racers. I already had a primary spec racer. This was like backup to my backup car. But I just noticed when I was running my 3 spec racer Fusions that one of the three was significantly slow. It just didn't. I mean, it wasn't slow, you know, but it just I could tell it was just not as good as the other two cars. And when I put it on the dyno, I could see it for sure. So I'm gonna build this up, and then I have a couple of extra chassis. I'm gonna rebuild the that other Fusion. Take a look at the end bell. Maybe use a different end bell on that one. See what kind of numbers we get. But let me put this together real quick. And again, these are pretty easy to build. They really are. Just as long as you line up the rear bushing in its slot, get the tabs lined up, make sure the magnets are not binding, then you just snap it in, and that's it. No hangers to mess with. The hangers are molded into the end bell. I mean, you can't put a motor in any quicker than that. Got just a little bit of play in there. Happy with that. So I like how that looks. Put our pickup shoes on. Sorry, I'll try and keep my hands out of the way. Okay. One. I think I use 0.9 springs on my spec racers because they have stronger magnets, and I use 0.8 on my ceramic cars, in case anybody's wondering about that. Yeah, some guys really like to play it. The guy at the race, one of the guys at my buddies at the race had one of those spring meters that measures the pickup shoe spring tension. I got to get one of those. It was an eye-opener to look at the tension of the springs and how it affects the pickup shoe. So that's going to be my next little gadget. Like even this spring feels stiffer than this one to me a little bit. I might put new springs in here. I don't know. We'll see. These springs have definitely been in the car. Well, I don't think they have that much life on them. Extraction. Sorry, I'm just reading some of these comments. That's why Auto World are far superior to anything I can actually see it go around the track. Yeah, that's no lie. I'm not gonna. I'll admit, man. I know why my buddy Rick doesn't like to race HO as much, because he's older than me, and he has a hard time following these cars. Even a couple of times Sunday, I was like, which one? Where's my car? Which one's mine? I literally intentionally slowed down a tiny bit just to find my car. So yeah, it's not easy. These fusions are very fast, and when they get bunched up together, it's like, oh man. But, that's part of the game. I mean, we're all pretty old, so it's not like I'm the only old guy. Yeah, this is a race car, Adam. This is a precision, I mean, all out design for racing. Let's see, where's my Just want to see which magnets are, which side of these magnets are the strongest. So we got 71 on that side, 69.9, so 71 on the side without the marker. I'm gonna use that. And then this is gonna be the other one, also 70.8, so that's good. They're both in the 70s. And again, high downforce. Stick it to the motor magnet, and then put that side towards the rail. And that clip just pops in those slots there. Pretty easy. It's a very easy chassis to work on and build. Really is. I'm gonna run this for a little bit. Let me give this some oil, since this is a whole new setup here. This is a new bushing, new end bell, so we got new bushings front and rear, so we definitely need some oil. And I'm gonna put this on the break-in setting for a few minutes, and then we'll see what it looks like on the dyno. While that is breaking in a little bit, this is the rear. This is a 23 tooth gear, BSRT gears I really like. What else? So yeah, so this, I don't know. I'm gonna try and rebuild this. Actually, while that's burning in, I'm gonna rebuild this other car and see how it runs. It's one of these chassis. These should both be pretty good. I don't think there's really anything wrong with any of these chassis. Alright, so we need an end bell. These are all of my spare Fusion parts. Got a bunch of end bells, bushings, pickup shoes, springs, magnets. All the goodies for Fusion. I do have enough magnets to do another ceramic car. These are ceramic super stock motor and traction magnets. And I do have another chassis, I just don't have an armature. Very true, Mike. I definitely, I mean, you can just hear when, and you know when a car is running good. I mean, it's nice to see the results on the dyno, but I can just hear when my car goes around the track, if I have the height set up right and all that good stuff. But you know, all these little tools obviously helped to be able to let us get a gauge and starting point. I have a 0.12 and a 0.14, so I kind of use both of these. Get a gauge where my car would sit on rails at different heights, magnet-wise. And you know, it's amazing the difference that the size of the front tires also make. You know, a lot of guys get kind of into the rear because they think that's where it is where the traction magnets are, obviously, and the rear tires are important, but getting the front just right as well really is the key to having that car really handle well. All right, what was I saying? We're gonna build this car. Let me see. Some of these end bells we used. that I put in this. Could try and use a brand new end bell on this and see how it goes. That one's pretty warm. Alright, let's see how this. What do we need for this? We need everything. Where's all my spacers? Hold on, I gotta get something. These are all my little spacers that I use for my axles and my armatures. I got some of these Teflon ones. I need to put one of these on. Let's see if I can find a smaller one, a thinner one. These are actually, most of these are, well, can't see them because they're not on the camera, but these really white ones are new, and they're 10,000ths. They're a little bit thick. That's all that Wizards had was 10,000ths. You know, 10,000ths is usually total that I like to put on the top of the armature. But some of these are actually thinner than 10,000. Like this one. Put that on. Didn't mean to dump all of these out. Sorry, I had to put these away. That car sounds pretty good on the break-in. It's nice and steady sounding. It's like there's no fluctuation in the tone of the motor. I like the way it sounds so far. Alright, so we've got our thin little Teflon spacer there. And I'm going to put, nope. I'm going to start with a 5,000ths spacer to go along with that. So we got our little 5,000ths. Let's see how this looks. guys can't really see that, but I like to see just a little bit of copper on the comm when I'm looking down in there. But I've built enough of these Fusion N-Bell type cars that I kind of know what the spacing is on them. Like I said, I use 10,000s on the top and usually 50 to 60 thousandths depending on which bushing. I have two different bushings that I could use. I have this stock Wizard bushing, and then RPM makes this like pro bushing, which I'm still not sold on. It's a dual flange type bushing. I've only got one of these. No, I got two of these left. And then I'm gonna go with the old school Wizard bushing. I think I need to order a few more 20,000 spacers too. I think I'm kind of running out. I only use these 20,000s on these Fusions, so. I'm going to put 3 of these 20,000s on here. We'll pop it in the chassis, see how it looks. Put our bushing on. Oh, you know what I need? I need a pinion gear as well. Let me get that. These are my 7-tooth pinions. I've been using these Jag black pinions. I actually kind of like them. Someone recommended them to me, and I do like them. They seem to hold up pretty good. They've got a pretty good grip when you put it on the shaft there. Do I run anything other than Viper or Wizard? You mean with my club or just in general here? Here I run everything. I got, T-Jets, Magna Traction, Mega G Plus, Tycos. My club, we run mostly Vipers and Fusions. We do run a box stock class, so you could run a Mega G or whatever's legal for box stock per Hopper rules. I'd have to look it up, but yeah, my club runs mostly level 4. Well, we run ceramic super stock and everything else is level 4, like Palmer Magnet. The Vipers we run are level 4. We don't run any like CMPM or unlimited type class cars with my group, which I'm kind of happy about. Alright, so that's actually going to be too much spacing. I can't even seat the... I'm going to take it down to... I'm going to remove one of these 20s and put a 10. Usually it's 50,000s that works pretty good for the back end of these fusions, but that other car that's on the break-in block, it had more space than usual for some reason. I had to use 320s. It's really odd that this is not, oh, there we go. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty tight. So the 50,000s is still too tight with this particular armature. Hey, Mike. Hey, two Michaels. Michael and Michael. What's going on, guys? I'm gonna try this with just the two 20,000 spacers. That might be a little too loose, but we're gonna see. No, actually, that's perfect. So, interesting. Although I already have some reservations about this build because I don't know why that's such a different spacing, but we'll see. Yeah, 220s worked pretty good actually. All right, where's my magnets? Okay, my motor magnets and my traction magnets. I think these were actually my weakest set of motor magnets, so it's probably not going to help this car out too much, but let me just check this. 30, and no, actually it's pretty good. They're usually like around 30, 36, 37. At least that one looks good. 37. Nah, actually these look fine. Whoa, 39 on that side. That's interesting. All right, we've got our our motor assembly here. See if I can get this down in here. There we go. Oh man, that's interesting. With the magnets, with it all together now with the magnets, I don't know where all that extra space came from, but look at that. That's kind of annoying. Yeah. Told you it was always 50 thousandths at least. So I'm going to put that 10,000 back in there. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. This is a little bit weird. I mean, I've built like half a dozen of these cars now. A little odd. Well, maybe it'll turn out to be a good thing once it's all done. We'll see. Okay, yeah, that's good. Now she looks good. Oh man, what's with all the snacks blue oval? I could go for some snacks right now. I'm working up an appetite. Alright. I took this car off. Let's put the rear end in this car. This is 420 rear end setup. Where did this clip come from? Must have came out of my thing there. Let me pull the dyno up a little closer here so you guys can see this hopefully. And let me turn my voltage up to the normal 18-ish volts. And let's see what this bad boy does. $430. It's decent. Whoa. Coming to life even more now. 440. I think it's got some more breaking in to do. We hit 450. Almost. Yeah, that's pretty standard for a Fusion with a hot stock armature. If you build it right, you should be hitting the, above 4 for sure. Usually like 420, 430 up to, I have a couple of my cars are closer to 460, 470. So these are pretty good numbers. I'm curious to see how this car runs. Let's see how it looks on this is a 412 setup block. It's a little bit low in the front. So I either have to raise the front up a tiny bit or bring down I think these are 320 tires probably. I'd have to check them. You can see this magnet was used. It was rubbing. It was low in the front on the other car. That's a good indicator of your front end is a little bit low compared to the rest of the car because it wore the front part of the magnet. Not as bad on that one, but this is a 412. Let me get more light in here. So you can see with the lower rail, you got a little more space, but I can still see the front of that magnet is a little bit low. And that side too, it's just a touch, the front end. Oh yeah, all these Fusions are perfectly balanced. I mean, I use a balanced hot stock armature in all of them, so they're all pretty much, rock steady as far as how the motor runs. If you got it all spaced right as well. So I'll probably tinker around with the height of this car. But as far as the numbers on the dyno, it looks pretty promising. This might be my number 2 car. I think this is actually running stronger than I think my number 2 car was in the 430s on the dyno. I think it was this one. This is my number 2 car. Let's see. Let's see what this car does on the dyno. Not as strong. This is one of my older armatures. Although I haven't serviced this car in a while, I don't even know what the brushes look like on this car. But yeah, this car is sitting even lower actually on a 414. It's almost dragging. Well, it is dragging. I don't mind if it's just kind of touching the rails, but you don't want it to, like you said, you could hear it when you go around like you can see how worn that magnet got on the top. Not from this car though. This was in a different car. These are before I knew how to really properly set up my cars. Some of these magnets are from my earlier days, but So the paint got chipped off of them. But this car is really well, like it's really perfectly level. That's a 414. Let's look at 412. Got a little more space. But I really got this thing like perfect as far as it being level on the rail. So that's a 412 rail, so you can see there's just like a tiny little bit of space on that. But I'm running 314, I think, tires on this opaque chassis. I have to really take the tires down low because the magnets just seem to sit up higher. And this is my primary spec racer. I got this thing tuned pretty good as well. It's like just kissing the rails. This car really is running good. I'm really looking forward to running this spec racer on Saturday. I think it's going to perform for me like my super stock did. Hey, Kenton. All right, so let's move this dyno out of the way. So yeah, I think this car is running pretty darn good with this new armature and end bell. I mean, we were hitting like almost 450, so at least on the dyno, that's a pretty good number. I'm gonna play around with the height of this car, but let's go back to this car, see what this thing does. Oh, you know what? I need a front end for this car. Do I have a front end? Uh-oh. I have a rear end. I'm going to use this one that I built earlier. This is, I might not leave these gray tires on here, but these are RPM 252, I think, rear hubs. So this comes in at like a 420. And also a 23 tooth gear. Wait, let's put the, let's see. Let's see what these magnets read. See if I get the strongest side. So that's a 70. 69, so 70. And then this one's going to have to be that way. So I'm curious to see what this reads. Also 70. Alright, that's pretty good actually. If these fusion traction magnets are in the 70s, that's pretty good. All right, so we got that. Oh man, this thing is not, I don't like how this thing is spaced. This rear axle, I don't know why. I don't know what I did there, but there's too much play in that. I have to pull that off and put another spacer in there. But for now, it's not horrible. But, we need some pickup shoes and some springs. used pickup shoes for now, for testing purposes. That one looks pretty good, even though that's used. I wonder if I could find the effed up dinner tonight. Now I don't know if I want to just hold off and use that as an excuse to have a late night snack. I went to one of my favorite local places, actually the place where the guys and I go usually on Sundays when we race, called Lindbergh's. They make awesome burgers there, although I actually did not have a burger tonight. I had what's called the Lindy wrap, which is a really good chicken wrap. I get it pressed, so it's like heated up. It's good stuff. It's got like grilled chicken, lettuce, tomato, cucumber. I think it has like walnuts in it, cranberries, and it comes with this like raspberry vinaigrette dressing. Yeah, I like that wrap. And it was actually good tonight. I didn't get fries. I just got some steamed broccoli because I'm trying to lose some weight per my doctor. I'm sure that's pretty standard for a lot of us. Our doctors are saying more salads and vegetables. Your cholesterol's a little high. All right, we've got our pickup shoes. Everything's built. I don't like this rear end. I gotta fix that. I put a different rear end in there. Let me see if I can find a front end for this car. I think I have one more independent front end. This is actually the one I take with me on race day as a spare, so I'm gonna have to use it. I do have one other one, but it's not aluminum. It's a plastic one. But look, I even put the spacers in here that this thing needs. How good is that? See if this passes tech. Uh-oh, it's a little tight. Let me get this a little bit. There we go. Oh, I guess tires would help too, huh? I'm gonna start with 320s. What is going on here with all this? Oh, well, I guess I do need some rear axle pins for this car. This is another nice thing. They already drill that hole out for you, so it's ready to be pinned. You don't have to try and drill that tiny hole straight yourself. Get some tires. Let's see how this thing looks. Yeah, you can see how much higher this car is on the 412. Definitely see some space there. This is a little bit higher. This is on a 414 rail. Not too bad. Actually, it's fairly level, actually. Spacing between the front and rear of the magnet looks pretty good. Let's see what this thing does on the downforce meter here. Yeah, I would expect it to be in the 440s. That's not bad, actually. That looks pretty good. Let's see which car was this? Oh, this is the one we just built with the new armature. Similar, 444, slightly more downforce. How about this car? This is even lower. These are 418 tires. No, same, 443, 444. What about my primary car? Yeah, 454. These are running, these are 248s, so this is bringing this down to 418. Though this is supposed to be 418 as well. Actually, this is actually like 416, I think. Because these purple tires are supposed to be 418 on a 250 hub. And these are 250s, these black. Those are Viper standard 250. These are 248s. So technically this should be 416. Which makes sense considering the downforce is higher. That's my lowest car. Alright, so this is the one we just rebuilt. I'm gonna let this thing kind of break in for a little bit as well. You know what, let me give this a little shot of oil on the armature real quick. Turn this voltage back down. Oh. Definitely sounds different. Don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. It's got a whole different pitch than this other car that we just built. And it's got a little bit of a ring. It's not as steady. We'll see if breaking it in gets rid of some of that. I think that's what it was doing. It was like not a consistent speed on the dyno. In the numbers were fluctuating and you could hear it. I don't use comm drops. You can't really, it's kind of hard to get the drops on these N-Bell type cars. I use the comm drops on my hood type cars because I could drop it right in there and get to the comm. This is going to be my next, I didn't actually build this car. This is the car that I came in 4th place with. I actually bought this used. It's a fairly old chassis, though I took it apart and cleaned it all up. But this is my one and only hood system car. So it's not an N-Bell car. It has the, kind of like the Ghost Cat, where it has those springs that wrap around the posts. And the brushes come in from the sides, so it's timed differently. This is a different armature. This armature won't work in an N-Bell car. This is set up for the brushes to be on the side rather than up top and bottom like an N-Bell. So this car runs really good, but I think I'm going to start playing around a little more with trying to build up another hood type system on a Fusion. The only hood type car I built was that Ghost Cat, and it didn't come out too well. That's why I stick with the N-Bell. There's just so much tweaking you have to do on the hood type system to get it to run really good. Okay, good to know. I got to get some more of those comm drops. I don't really use them, but I know guys that do. I borrowed some at the track. Who sells those? Where can I get some of those comm drops? Do you know? Yeah, exactly. A Tyco timed arm. Yep. Alright. I'm going to use the same rear end that we used on this car that I just built, where we hit like almost 450. I'm going to put that in this other car. I need to rework this. I don't like the spacers I used in there. Alright. Let's see. Let's see what this thing does. Probably could use some more braking in, but the Fusion N-Bells, the brushes are actually already broken in for you. They don't require as much braking as like a Viper N-Bell. Oh, that's so much better. Alright. Alright, let's see what this thing does. Well, that's much better. So let's see if it stays. Yeah, see? This is what this thing does. Look at this. It starts out strong, and then it just drops right down. Then it kind of fluctuates. Yep, this is exactly what this thing was doing before. Look at that, it's slowing down. And I know I didn't build this car bad. I don't know what to make of it other than the armature. I guess I'm gonna have to ohm out this armature and see if something's up with maybe one of the windings or something. Dang it, I should have did that. Why didn't you guys tell me that before I put this thing together? We could have ohmed out this armature. Well, I don't like the way it's running, so let's tear it apart and take a look. Jag sells the comm drops? I'm gonna have to look into that. Thanks, Mike. It's a little bit hot, but I mean, there's definitely enough play in there. It's not binding at all. It spins very smooth, so it's not a spacing issue. I mean, this thing feels really buttery smooth, just like all my fusions do. So, I don't know. I don't know what's up with this thing, but it's kind of a bummer because it's a pretty new armature. What do you guys think? Any ideas why it starts off so strong and then it just goes south, other than something up with the armature? I don't know, because I tried like 3 different end bells with this armature and they all do the same thing. I don't I've never had any issues with brushes glazing on any of my other fusions, and I've built like 8 of them now. Wizard? I've never seen him on Wizards. I'll have to check. And Lucky Bombs. Yeah, I figured probably Lucky Bombs. I don't know. Gonna look at these brushes under my magnifying light here. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I don't know when you say brush glazing. I mean, these brushes look like all my other brushes that I can tell by looking at them. I don't see anything obvious that looks bad with these brushes. Appreciate the tips though. I mean, I'm always learning. I'm not, by no means am I the know-all expert on everything. So I love getting new tips. Uh-oh. I lost my, oh, it's in there. It's like maybe the spacer, but the spacer's in there where it should be. Yeah, but I don't think it's the chassis, because this is like the 3rd chassis that this armature's been in. You know, the car we just built, this armature was in this chassis, and this new armature, I mean, you saw how well this thing ran, so I don't think it's the chassis. Yeah, I could try breaking it in a little more. I'm gonna ohm it out real quick just for the heck of it, but we'll see. All right, see if I can find some room here. So my meter leads are giving me 0.5, so we need to subtract 0.5 from our numbers. See if I can do this. .4, so that would be 5.9, which is about right. I would expect this to be like 6 or on 5.8 to 6. 6.4, so that's also 5.9. Dang it. 6.4, yeah. Yeah, no, it looks good. Hold on. I'm trying to do this again here. Make sure I get all three of them. Sorry, I know you guys can't see what I'm doing. You just have to take my word for it. Six 6.4, yeah. So that one. Now let me try and turn this. .4, 6.4. Yeah, no, it's like 5.9 ohms. So. I don't think these brushes look shiny. Yeah, they look okay. Yeah, the arm check's good. It's giving me 5.9 ohms across all three windings, so that's decent. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't have any way to check that. It is a balanced hot stock armature, but whether it's really balanced, I don't have any way of checking that. But all I know is that I guess what would have been a better test is if I would have used everything but the armature. I used a new end bell as well with this armature. Everything else though was from this car. Can I hold the arm? I'll try. What do you want to see? Stupid camera, my phone, trying to get this thing to. Come on, focus. What can I do to get this thing to focus? That's not gonna help. mean, there's a little bit of, I did clean the armature before. I mean, it's got a little bit of black marks on it from running, but I don't see anything in between the spaces of the armature, of the comm, I mean. Run this X-Acto through these openings here. Not X-Acto, but sorry, I'm trying to get this comm. It just doesn't want to focus. I think that's the best I'm gonna get. If I hold it like that. Yeah, I just checked that, and I just ran the very fine tweezer down those spaces to clear that out. There's a little bit of alcohol here. Clean this. Clean this up a bit. Put it back together. I've definitely seen worse. Yeah, I saw that one little spot there. Might have to use my tool to really clean it. Just buffed it. Wow, that alcohol took the purple off. Hey, that looks pretty clean. I use this very soft tool to buff it. All right, where did my, here we go. Yeah, maybe I'll just let it burn in. I'll put it all back together, let it really sit on the break-in setting at 5 volts. And feels pretty good, feels smooth. Oops, almost put that together wrong. Hammer time. You guys and your hammer. Boom, right in. We've only got a little bit of play there, but you can definitely see the armature move a little bit. It's not binding at all. I don't remember which way I had these magnets in. 69, 69.3, 69.6. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I can't think of anything else other than really breaking it in for a good while as well. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. This is like a backup to my backup now. I have 4 spec racer class level 4 polymer magnet cars now. This is actually my 4th one. If anything, I'll lend this to somebody at the track that needs a car. Because guys show up that don't have cars, sometimes don't have cars. We're always lending cars to people. So obviously, I'm not going to lend them one of my really good cars, but. But it's better than no car, right? At least they could run in the race. Wow, I've been on here for an hour and a half already. I wonder why I'm getting tired. I'm just going to put this together and put this on the block, the break-in, and probably call it a night for now, guys. I got to clean up. I got parts everywhere. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Okay. Pickup shoes are on. I oiled the bushings. Let me put this back down to 5 volts. And we will let it break in while I'm cleaning up all my mess here. I appreciate the help and the suggestions as always. I'll tell you, I was so happy with my 4th place finish. You don't know how thrilled I was. I mean, this is a class that I would come in 5th, 6th, and be like 20 to 30 laps behind the leader, and I've closed the gap. I think I was 5 laps out of 3rd place and 9 laps behind the leader, so definitely improving. I think my builds are improving, my cars are improving, and my my racing skills are improving. I just got to have a little more confidence in myself. I still are of the mindset that I'll slow down a little bit and not de-slot as much. So I'm sacrificing some speed. How much play is okay for the armature? I mean, I think it's kind of a personal preference. I mean, I don't know, can you... I usually like 5,000s maybe is what I go with. You know, not a lot. I don't want it to be anywhere near possibly too tight. So I want to see a little bit of movement in that armature. That's just me. Some guys go even tighter with their tolerance. They can kind of see the space I have there. Yeah, actually it doesn't sound too bad. Well, while that's burning in, if you guys want to hang out for a little bit, I'll clean up some of this mess, and once I'm done cleaning up, well, it's not going to be an hour, but if you want me to put the axle back in and just take a quick look at the numbers, I can do that. If it's still fluctuating, I'll let it sit even longer, breaking in. Yeah, I agree. All right. Oh, hey, Kenny. Let's see how this thing looks. Look, I've got my bench is mostly cleaned up, so I feel better about that. All right. Let's put the rear end back in this car. And let's see what it does. Wow, over 1 on the low setting. That's actually pretty good. It does sound better. Not great, but better. I'm going to let it burn in some more. Yeah, see, it's starting to drop again. I don't break it under load, no, not normally. I could let this run with the load for a while. .411's not great, Kenny. I'm looking for like closer to 450. Yeah, see. It started out at like 430 and now it's going back down into the threes. Just odd behavior for a fusion with this armature. Now refresh your browser, Moondog. You're not seeing what I'm seeing. Oh, going back up. 404, 405. I don't know, maybe this thing just needs some good burning time. We'll see. I mean, a 4.0 is obviously not horrible, but it's not hot. Not any hotter than I would expect it to be at that voltage. This is what I'm looking for, Kenny. $470. This freaking car, I'm telling you, this car runs really good. This is the car we just built with the new armature. Yeah, you can hear and feel the power in this car compared to the other one. This car runs good. This one that we just built earlier. Kind of excited to see how it runs on the track. I got to play around with the tire sizing on this car though. I like that. This is I don't know. I'll have to keep playing around with this to see if I can figure something out. That's my primary spec racer. This is my backup. Although this new car that we built might become my new backup car. This car might be my new backup. Although this car, I gotta tune this thing up. This car has a lot of mileage on it. This armature, this motor, anyway. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Don't know what to make of it. Like I said, I've had this armature now in I think 3 different chassis with 3 different end bells, and it's doing the same thing, which is what made me think there was something up with the armature. But I mean, it ohms out okay, and it looks okay. I don't know. Who knows? Like I said, it's a number 4 car, so I'm not. Thanks, no drama. What's the surface condition of the good arm? What do you mean good arm? You mean the new one that we built? Or any good arm? I mean this arm that I put in this car that I cleaned looked just like any of my other armatures after I cleaned them. So I didn't notice anything that looked odd with the com on that armature after I cleaned it. There's a bug living in the Anyway, I've been on for about 2 hours, so I think I'm gonna pack it in for tonight. My back is getting sore from sitting on this damn stool. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I appreciate the suggestions and ideas, and I will certainly let you guys know if I figure anything out with this car. I guess I could let it burn in even longer, see if that helps, but normally, like I said, normally with these Wizard cars and the Wizard end bell, they come already like pre-burned in, and they're already rounded, the brushes. It's not like, I've never had to do any extensive burn-in on any of my other Fusions. That's why I think just something's a little weird with this car, with that armature. I don't know. But like I said, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. I'll just get another armature. Yeah, I looked at it under this magnifying light. I mean, I didn't see anything that looked suspicious to me. But I am I'm gonna pack it in for tonight. I might probably go live again, maybe Friday night before Rich's show. Maybe if Rich is gonna go live at 9, maybe I'll pop on at 8. I want to run my cars before Saturday, heading out Saturday morning to the tracks. I want to run this car that we just built. I'm gonna play around a little bit tomorrow with the tire sizing on this car, get it to where I want it, and take it for some laps. But other than that, I think we're all good. All right, guys, have a good night. I appreciate everybody hanging out. We'll talk with everybody soon.